Hey, Sharp, how's it? We're
Yes,
back.
people, episode 2.
Episode 2,
It's
I
good
can't
to be
believe it.
back. It feels good.
Feels good, man.
Yeah,
How did you find the first episode?
I enjoyed it. It's cool. I
Yeah?
was like, okay, are we doing something here? It was fun. I liked it. I was
Hey.
definitely excited for episode 2. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, the key to everything is just start, isn't it?
100%. You
Yeah,
just
and-
gotta
and-
get it going.
Yeah, and I think we need more people in the space,
We
eh?
yeah,
You
definitely.
definitely need more people, man.
For those of you at home, we've got potential guests. You just need to get them here.
I wonder who it is, because he hasn't actually told me who it is.
No, it's a surprise. Don't worry.
Right, it's even a surprise for me.
I'll bring them. It will be fun. We'll have some debates going on here. Who's the better driver? Who's the better team?
Yeah,
It'll
we
be
must
good.
get more people, eh?
No,
like,
100%.
yeah, to make it exciting.
Yeah,
and,
I think so.
Yeah, so, hey, guys, welcome back, hey? Welcome back. Welcome to the second episode of Lekker Entertainment Sport, hey? To start, again, it's the second episode, and it feels like, so much has happened already in the
Yeah.
F1 sort of spectrum, eh? Like, it's so much to talk about.
Hey, F1, there's never a dull moment.
Yeah,
I'm telling
eh?
you, dude, it's just, there's so much happening.
Yeah, and,
Always something happening.
it's crazy, hey? I mean, you were sort of like shouting at me off air, because I haven't watched.
Yeah, so off camera, before we started recording, I was telling this guy, Brew, watch the races. He watches the highlights, and I'm like, I can't ask.
It's just
like,
as
I-
good. It's
no,
just
it's not.
literally.
You're missing like the fight. You need to watch the whole thing to appreciate it. Come on, I need you to
they-
catch up here, man.
I definitely need to. Hey,
In the comments, tell him to watch the race, please, people.
in the comments, maybe
Yeah.
there's some people who are saying I should keep on watching highlights.
No, don't
You
do
just
that.
never know, hey?
Nah.
You just never know. Well, again, guys, just a few announcements that I like to make, man. It's number one is the hat I'm wearing. It's actually been made by a lady that learned how to do the stuff, and
Okay.
she liked what we do, and she said, please, maybe there's like 11 views or 20 views or
Nice.
50 views or 100 views. Just tell them to, I think what I'll do is I'll just pop out her number on the description and everything else.
Does she have an Instagram? or
Yeah, I
something?
think she
Maybe
does,
put that link in the description for the
yeah.
people at home.
When you're doing a podcast, man, you never actually know like who's watching. And I mean, this lady was like,
100%.
please, just like,
Hey, you never know. Someone at home could want a beanie,
Yeah,
and then
yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. But let's get to it, eh?
Yeah.
Shall we? Where do you want to start?
Qualifying, sure, it was good, and then it wasn't good.
Why?
Um,
It was
dude,
interesting.
it was yeah. So it was meant to be like an hour. Ended up being like around 2 hours. There was a red flag for about 40 minutes.
Is it?
With old Mick Schumacher's crash.
Yeah, I know.
He had Saudi Arabia Jeddah corner circuit. It's fast.
Yeah.
It's the fastest street circuit.
You gotta know what you're doing, eh? Like
100%.
it's not
And
a
you know,
matter of-
I mean, it's not even like, you're a beginner and you're not used to the track. Last year, Max Verstappen, he was about to set potentially the fastest lap for qualifying, and
yeah,
on the
yeah.
last turn into the wall, and that was it for him. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it the last episode that we did that like with who's the guy who's racing for Aston Martin, and he was diagnosed with COVID or something like that.
Vettel, Sebastian
yes,
Vettel, yeah.
yes, and he had a replacement. And you were just saying like,
Hulkenberg.
yes, you were like, hey, my man, it's not just like you can just pitch up and say, hey, I'm
100%.
here.
You can't just get in the car and drive, eh?
Yeah, I know.
But
There's the technicality in it.
yeah, I feel sorry for Mick because it's a very tight track, and he did it like it's so close between being a good driver and making that small mistake, you
Yeah,
know.
I know.
And he went just too much over the curb.
Yeah.
He hit the wall with 32 G's of force.
That's like
But
crazy.
yeah,
eh?
actually,
It's
the
crazy.
way he hit the wall, I think it benefits him because if you watch the
Mm.
highlights and stuff, he like spun out of control and he was sliding towards the wall. But luckily, the wall wasn't like dead on, you know.
Mm. Yeah, I know.
It kind of ricocheted him to the next wall, and then
Yeah.
like kept on moving and moving.
But I mean, okay, fair to like when I read like the whole thing, because I mean, again, I watched the highlights. I mean, don't beat me for it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like when I read it and looked at the highlights and stuff, like you gotta say, man, like the safety that is put into the cars,
yeah.
it's just crazy. eh?
Yeah, so like I don't know if you saw, but it looked so bad. Two of I think the front tires popped off,
Yeah,
and there were
popped
just
off, and it-
pieces of the car flying everywhere.
Yes.
And then you hear the commentator say, actually, no, they designed the cars like that. So you'd rather have pieces of the car break off and absorb the impact.
But it's terrifying to see.
Yeah.
It's like, dude.
It is. It looks very
Is,
bad.
is the guy okay?
But it actually, at the end of the day, it like saves the driver,
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of. Because I
It's-
mean, if you look at Grosjean last year, nothing flew off his car. His car split in half. So you'd rather have pieces fly off and then keep your driver intact.
But again, it's a reality check for the drivers, I guess.
Yeah.
That they're in a very dangerous sport, you know.
No, F1 it's probably the most dangerous sport.
The most dangerous sport.
You're going you're taking a turn at like 200 kilometers an hour.
Sure, it's
Yeah.
crazy, hey? I mean, some people will argue with that and say soccer. I mean, some
Don't come at me with soccer is more dangerous. How? Not even entertaining that argument, boss. That's nonsense.
Do you follow any sports other than F1?
Yeah, so Premier League soccer.
Yeah.
Soccer, but
What about the
mainly-
PSL, man? You're South African.
Really, you want? I only know two
These
teams.
South Africans,
I only
guys.
know two teams, and you know what two teams they are. Oh, Chiefs and Pirates, boss.
But you gotta know about Sundowns, you know?
Yes, actually, yeah, Sundowns.
Yeah.
Isn't there what Cape Town City or whatever?
Yeah,
There's a
Cape Town City.
team.
I mean, there's a number of them. They will have. If anybody is interested, they'll then have to watch the soccer
other
podcast.
podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's a
our-
good segue into that.
But we're like much better than them, you know, in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's not even a question.
But I mean, still on the topic of Mick. I mean, you look at how much it's going to cost him to basically have another car.
Guess how much it was?
They said isn't it like, I think I read something that said it was about like $1 million.
It was $1 million, or euros, whatever currency.
Yeah. Which is crazy. Hey, it's a lot of
A
money.
million.
Do you think Haas can afford it?
Well, they've got the sponsors, so I mean that's kind of what the sponsors are there for. You know,
Yeah, no?
you're expecting to crash.
Yeah.
At least you can't. It's very rare where you have no crashes at all.
But
you
I
know.
mean, with the new regulations again, I mean, you've been in the sport for quite some time, and you've read the regulations, right?
Yeah.
So, if you look at the regulations, they spoke about like capping the budget and things like. Do you think?
yeah, budget caps.
Yeah.
That will affect them because now, I mean, let's be honest, Haas never had that much money to spend.
Yeah, true.
So it's like, budget cap for them. It doesn't really help the smaller teams. It kind of helps it when the big teams can't spend that much. That's how it helps the
It
smaller
balances
teams.
the sports again. as
Basically,
you
so
said,
it's
yeah.
actually it's not that much of a negative for the smaller teams.
Yeah.
When it comes to Red Bull and Mercedes, when they have a budget cap, then it's like,
a bit
oh,
of
frick,
a-
can't just spend it how much we want on our car now. And
Yeah,
things like
so
that.
it was. I mean, I guess.
But I think, it was so much damage. That's why, I mean, he didn't even race on Sunday.
Yeah, yeah.
They couldn't fix that car in time.
Sure. Would you have raced if you were Mick and you had the car?
I mean, if we walked away from it, okay, I think I would.
Yeah,
If you're an F1 driver, you got to have the guts. You can't be a scared F1 driver.
So that
I
mean, that I wouldn't be an F1 driver.
Hey,
when
just
a
to
car
even
hits like
sit in one of those
140,
cars,
which I shouldn't be doing,
Yeah,
normally
then
it's
you're like, okay, well, let's go back a
hey,
bit, yeah.
baba. Zakala
That's too
man.
much for me, yeah.
You know, so it's like crazy.
Yeah.
Eh? But anyway, you know, it was an exciting weekend if you really look at like how everything just transpired. You know,
Yeah,
from the
definitely.
Friday to the Saturday, and
I
to
gotta
the
say,
race
you know,
itself.
Saudi Arabia are great hosts. I mean, if you the race on Sunday at the end, you know, just street circuits at night, all the lights were flashing. They
Yeah,
had
man.
fireworks for like 20 minutes at the end.
Sure.
The trophies, don't get me started
Yeah.
on that. They just looked so good.
Amazing.
I
eh?
think they're just such good hosts, so it was bound to be a good race, you know.
I mean, we're going to talk about a point that has been sort of brewing about South Africans hosting it.
Yeah,
you know, but we're going to get
that's
to that a
gonna
bit
be
later.
coming up soon.
One of the key things that I think in the race itself, when we were talking about it, was that if you look at the Alpine team,
Alpine.
yeah,
You know, you got to give them props. It's very rare where you see drivers from the same team competing. So last season and for quite a while, you know, at Mercedes, not
Yeah.
taking a bash at them, even though I'll take a cheap shot when there's
why
one.
does everybody hate Mercedes? It seems like they
No,
just,
they're a very good team. They won 8 world championships in a
Yeah,
row. You got to
yeah.
give it to them. But if you look at their team structure, there was countless occasions where Bottas would have to be a team driver instead of racing. You know, it's like, hey,
who's the guy who always comes in on radio?
James.
James, yeah.
Valtteri, it's
give-
James. Give up the pussy. Yeah.
God damn, man.
Yeah.
Just let the ogre race, eh?
Yeah, that's the thing, and we never really see that. And then you get Alpine, and in the first, I think it was like 5 laps,
Yeah.
they behind each other and they're going at it.
At each other, hey?
Every chance they get, they
Sure.
diving in to
It
the
was
inside of the
crazy.
turn,
It
late
was- I mean,
braking,
it
and
was
you look at
crazy
it,
to
and
see.
and the commentators were like, "What are they doing?" Because
Yeah.
Bottas was behind the both of them. So you have, I think Ocon was in front for a bit, and then it was Alonso chasing him, and they were switching positions for
But
quite a while.
do you feel that Alonso should give the oak? I mean, he's younger than him, and he hasn't really won anything, really. Do you feel like he should be given? Like, look at what's happening with Sergio and Max.
And Max.
You know, Sergio, if you really look at it, I mean, I don't really understand the
Yeah.
politics that are internal.
Yeah.
But it feels like he's like, dude, you're a little bit younger than me. You have more in you than I do. You know, something like that. I mean, it's a bit of a.
I think it's the opposite way around. Probably. The older drivers are more like, listen,
I'm here.
I've been here. Step aside. When I'm gone, you can try a race.
But that's unfair.
But the thing is, like, that's why thumbs up to Alpine, because it wasn't a chance of like, no, Alonso's got more experience, or no, Ocon's the younger driver. It was like Oak's race.
Yeah,
You in a race,
just go it.
go
Just
for
go
it.
for it. Yeah.
Basically, the team principal said to them, you do what you want, just don't let Bottas get in front of both of you.
Yeah, because
'Cause
there's
that-
also. I
Because
mean,
you're still a team.
Exactly.
You're a team. You're driving as a team. You know, you don't want to lose points to Alfa Romeo. You're competing with them, so it's like fair enough. You race, you two. Just keep in mind the team in the background, but it's more for individual driver first, and then the team mindset behind that.
Yeah, but we'll see how it unfolds. I mean, if you
Yeah.
look at also in the same weekend, I mean, we had DNFs, right? Where Bottas and
Bottas,
and
Daniel
Dan,
Ricciardo,
you know.
and Alonso. And Alonso's having a great race. He was taking positions. Same with Bottas as well. You know.
Yeah.
But to be honest, Alpine, they're not currently a championship winning team. So
They might get there. Give them a few years. I mean, you see
yeah,
how
sure.
it has changed for some teams over the years.
But interesting that, speaking of in a few years, the engines in every car kind of stays the same until 2026.
is it?
Yeah.
That I didn't know,
So
people.
yeah, so that's you're not allowed to change anything in your engine until
Okay.
2026. So
something
it
new,
kind of
eh?
gives you a look into how things are going to be for a while now. So I don't think Alpine's really competing for championship. Obviously, they want to in constructors championship they
Yeah.
want to get above other teams because they get more money. But I think that's why they're in the spirit of let our drivers race.
Yeah. I mean, but again, you gotta feel sad, man, for
there was
for
so many-
Dan, especially for
And
Dan,
it was
man.
all in like one lap. It was like 1 or 2 laps. All of them just stopped because it started.
Yeah.
I think Bottas, he went into the pit, and then there's a little clock, and they just carried on going. And I was like, what is happening? And he's so unlucky with pit stops. Eh?
But
And
I mean,
then-
if you look at those two, Bottas and Dan, they just seem to not like get it really. They just
I think
a bit
more,
unlucky.
I think more Ricardo. Hey, he's been in a weird like.
Ever since he left Red Bull, he
No,
shouldn't
that
have.
he just jumps team to team to team. I don't know.
Hey,
Like,
but-
I do like him. He's obviously like
Yeah.
he's like the F1 poster boy type thing. His big smile. He's
That's
a nice
true.
oak.
That's
But
true.
I think his driving championship winning days.
A little bit over.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I don't want to say it because he's a very nice guy and everything.
Yeah.
But
And he has that sort of charisma with him.
yeah,
You gotta just
100%.
Yeah, you just gotta
But
like.
yeah,
him,
like
you
it
know.
started Bottas in the pit lane, they retire the car. Then all of a sudden, Ricardo goes in the straight, engine just cuts out.
Yeah,
and then he has to roll to the pit lane. Then all of a sudden, Alonso's car, no power.
You know, when you watch highlights, maybe you're right. I shouldn't just watch highlights.
Don't watch the highlights, watch the race.
You know, when you see it, it's like, oh my gosh, what just happened?
Yeah.
You know, and you look at a race that Lewis had. You know, do you think it was great? Because I mean, Lewis, he has won a lot of stuff. you
Yeah,
know,
no,
so we can't not talk
I
about
mean, he
him.
breaks records like it's nothing. Honestly, I
True.
think he's got like most race wins,
Most race wins, yes.
maybe he's got the most race starts with a single team. I think on Sunday he won that. He
Yeah,
just
yeah,
won
yeah.
80.
I mean, I've
he
lost track
took-
of how many records. I'll be
he's,
lying.
yeah.
He's
Undoubtedly,
amazing.
he's up there. You know, I do think he's starting to get grips with the car because like. You got to look at it for him. For like the past 5 years, he was starting
Yeah.
in the front of the grid. He got a good start.
True.
He never raced anyone unless they were behind him. Now he's starting 15th and he's surrounded by cars. So I think it obviously is a big change for him, you know.
yeah.
And he's getting to grips with the car because Mercedes, they do have a very different type of car. George Russell,
He did very well.
He's doing very good, I
Yeah,
must say. I think
yeah.
it's just the excitement for him.
Yeah,
He's
true,
in a
yeah.
Mercedes, a top class team now.
He's
It's
always
looking
wanted
up
to.
for
He
him.
always wanted to be
100%. But I do think Hamilton, he's doing a lot better. He took 5 places in that race. I don't understand what Mercedes is doing because I think their car requires them to use different sets of tires. Because if you look at the start of the race and even qualifying, everyone was on, I think, mediums in the start of the race, or regardless, whatever everyone else is on, the Mercedes always won harder.
Yeah.
So during the race, I think
They
they
always
started,
take it a little bit harder.
I think they started on mediums, and everyone else, everyone was on mediums, and then you get Russell and Hamilton on hards, and then it's like, what do you, like, I don't understand it. And then when everyone changes to softs, they change to mediums. It's like, I think it's the strategy at the Mercedes garage.
You never know what's happening in the garage, eh?
You don't know, hey.
There's a lot of things that happen in the paddock.
The question
man.
is it working?
Yeah.
Like, I think time will tell. I do think Hamilton and Russell have to get to grips with the car a bit more.
Yeah, I mean,
But everyone does. It's
we still have some days to the next race. Let's see what
100%.
news come out, because there's always news that are
That's
coming
true.
out.
There's always something changing, eh?
You know, and I mean, you gotta just love the fight between Max and who's the for the Ferrari. Ferrari
Charles
fans will
Leclerc.
kill me now. Yes,
Yeah,
Charles,
and
yes.
you're a Ferrari fan.
Yo, dude.
My bro.
I need
Charles
to be on top of
Leclerc,
my game when I'm doing this, eh?
it's honestly, like, it's very good racing, and those two have been racing together since they were kids.
Since
you
they
know,
were kids.
they
Oh,
were
yeah, I
doing
saw a
they were
picture.
doing go kart. Yeah, they're doing go karting together. F3, F2. Like they've
It's
literally
amazing,
been racing
eh?
together their whole life, and there's so much respect between them. And you can see,
True.
the end of the race, they drive past each other, give a
Yeah.
thumbs up out the.
And I mean,
out the
they
car.
come and just take a high five.
100%, you know,
afterwards
but
also.
I do think it's going to be a very close championship. I do obviously think
Yeah.
championship is between those two.
Yeah,
you
true,
know.
ne?
I'd like Sainz and Perez to get up there. I feel like
I like them to win. Well,
100%.
you know
Oh,
why.
Perez, bro, I feel so sorry for him.
Is
He
it?
gets the first pole of his career.
And then,
After like 200 and something races, he gets pole in such a good car. He gets off the start first. You know, he's doing so well, and then that bad pit stop. So for those of you that don't know, if there's a safety car in Formula One, you can basically get what's called a free pit stop.
Yes.
So regardless of what position you are, because in a safety car, you know, there's a car that's crashed or something. Everyone's going a lot slower.
Yes.
Basically, the priority is get the car off the track. So there's no racing. You're not allowed to take a position.
Yeah.
So you basically get a free pit stop. You can go into the pits, change your tires, and then you come out and you get your same position back. So
Sort of like what sort of the controversy around what happened in the last race last year. I mean, there was a little bit of also controversy around that. I think it was the last race last
it
year.
was the last lap. There was a
Yeah.
safety car, but that had to do with
Was it a bit
the
different?
unlapping cars and stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, so then Perez, he pits, I think, in lap 7 or 8, and as he gets out the pits, a car crashes, and then the yellow flag comes, and by that time he had already given up positions to, I think, Leclerc, Sainz, and Verstappen. So he
yeah.
went from being first to fourth, and if he waited like literally 20 more seconds, he could have got a free pit stop staying in first.
I feel like he was a bit unlucky not to get even the podium, eh?
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
but I
it
mean,
was rough.
it's the nature of the sport, really. if you think
but
about it.
I do feel sorry for him, eh?
Yeah.
I like him, but I like Sainz as well, you know.
It seems like you like a lot of people, dude.
Oh, free, yeah.
Just say you like the sport.
I like the
and
sport.
then
You
this will be
can't.
done. And then
No,
this
it's
will
true.
be
Like
done,
even
you know?
even when I was watching the final laps with the Ferrari and Red Bull competing, I was like, either way, I'm kind of happy. You know, I'd like to see Leclerc win. I'd like to see Verstappen win. I'm happy either way.
So all in all, I mean, it was an exciting weekend.
Yeah,
We
there was
saw-
a bit of not controversy on the last lap, but it was kind of funny. So, brilliant battle between Max and Charles.
And Charles, yes.
Overtaking after overtaking, you know,
Yes.
using the DRS zones, and in the end, Max, he came out on top. And then, so like the second to last lap, you know, Max takes the lead and he holds it for a bit.
Yes.
And then the last chance, old Charles got to get DRS. So they're coming up onto the main straight.
Yeah. It was the last corner or the last
they took
straight?
the last, they took the last
Yeah,
corner.
yeah.
going into the main straight, about to do the last lap. Then you check your yellow flag come up, and then
Oh yeah,
so
I've sort of heard about that.
as he was
also.
about to get the RS yellow flag, and now that means everyone has to drive
Has to
slow.
slow down, yeah.
So and then okay, now he's also a bit confused. Then it's green flag within a second. Okay, speeds up, then yellow flag again, and for the
Yeah.
whole straight that happened.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, and it was like it kind of not ruined the race, but like it was a
Yeah.
last chance at a battle, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like it kind of gave Max the
So
the win there.
it did take away that sort of excitement into
100%.
the racing.
I think so. It was like
Yeah.
kind of because after that, there's no you're not overtaking after that first turn.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
difficult.
We could talk at length. I mean, I wish we had more time.
Yeah, true.
But we could talk
Yeah.
at length about the controversy, the politics,
100%.
and whatever
But
happens. You know.
Saudi Arabia, all in all, good race.
Yeah,
I
very
think it's
good.
good for Red Bull. They're finally on the points there. A redemption after
A
last
terrible
week.
start.
Very terrible start, and
Yeah.
now their cars are getting pole position, winning the race. So I
So
think they fixed their problems.
There's
in
a
the
there's
garage.
a chance. So
Yeah.
in the maybe next, let's say to close it off, 2
Yeah.
minutes, right? So two things in the 2 minutes. There's this thing of South Africa could potentially host the F1.
So yeah, for those of you that don't know, there used to actually be a race in South Africa in F1 quite a
yeah.
while ago, Kayalami in Joburg. So now next year, I think it's next
I
year.
didn't even know that.
Yeah, F1 are looking to have 30 races a
Yeah.
season. And South Africa is one of the favorites to host one of those new 30 races.
Yeah. I think I saw something last year before I even got into F1
Yeah.
about Lewis saying that Africa needs to.
100
get
yeah,
an
he
opportunity.
there was a
he sort of initiated.
interview, and him and a few other people were there, and he was saying, we'd love to go back to South Africa.
Yeah, no.
And we'd love to host them.
Yo,
I
dude.
wish F1 would come back here.
I mean, I don't know the prices of tickets.
I'll buy
I'll save
one.
up.
100%. I'm there,
save
bro.
up.
I'm there. So it's either they're looking, if they do come to South Africa,
Yeah.
it's either Kayalami, brilliant classic track, or
Yeah.
Cape Town Street Circuit. And I think that sounds so exciting. Cape Town Street Circuit.
I have
my
to
bro.
say, they'll have to get Toyota Quantums. We're not advertising for Toyota.
Yeah.
To be safety cars.
100%.
Get rid of Mercedes. They'll have to get the taxis. And I think I know a few taxi drivers
I
that will
think
do
so.
well.
I'm telling you, bro, those taxis will zoom past those F1 cars.
So, yeah.
You're not beating that.
Last point. Couple of seconds. So we have a week or so till the next race.
Yeah, Australia.
Who do you think is going to come up top?
Ooh, I have to look at the top four from last race. It's either a Ferrari driver or a Red Bull driver.
Gotta choose
my,
one, man.
My favorite
Gotta choose
is going to
one.
be Max.
Okay, other than Max.
Other you,
Other
I'd
than Max.
Sainz. I want
Other than
Sainz to
Max.
win a race.
Something red, maybe.
Don't try to convert me
Come
to
on.
for no. I do like Sainz. He's
Yeah,
a cool oak.
He's a pretty cool
I
oak.
want to see him win a race.
Yeah.
I do.
So obviously my favorite will be the Reds, any of the Reds drivers.
But you gotta Ricardo, that's his home race. I want him
Yes.
to at least even get in the points because at McLaren they're not doing well.
It's gonna be tough, eh?
I want a good result at least for him.
for them.
So
you know,
even
for
if he
the team.
doesn't win, I just want
Yeah.
not even Lando. I do like he's cool and
Yeah.
all, but Ricardo's home race. Come on, gotta get something.
But there's always that thing again of like if it's your home race, there's pressure.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
personally don't like it, but I think it's just reality.
No,
That's
it
there.
is true because you
So,
expected to
yes,
win
give-
or
give-
to do something great.
Yeah, so
But
my
yeah.
predictions will be that the Reds will get it.
You think so?
But yeah, but I think Lewis will come back.
Not in the third race. I think it's gonna take him a few races.
Maybe it's because I'm a newbie, but I think
I think it will take him a few races.
I think on the next episode also what we should have, I mean we don't have time now because
Yeah.
I want to keep it short, is we should also look into like doing a segment where we teach people like myself who are newbies, where we say learn something new.
Yeah.
How about that? Should we
Yeah,
do that?
we'll educate those oaks.
Yeah, ne?
I'll educate
Talk about
you.
DRS.
DRS, that's a
yeah.
big thing.
We should touch on those things. But
Even
from-
qualifying, stuff about qualifying is different. Q3, Q2, Q1. There's
Yeah,
things to learn,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on my side and Mr. K's side,
No, it's been good to be
because
here.
I always get your name wrong.
Mr.
Keenan.
Mr. K is
Mr.
close
K.
enough.
Yeah, Mr. K. Mr. King.
Don't do that.
But my man, thank you for coming through.
100%
It's a
good to
pleasure.
be here, boss.
But yeah, we are signing out. Boom.
Cheers.